Hi guys, welcome to I think week 21 or week 22 of our Willows Avenue project. As you can see, everything looks brand new and sparkling, and it probably looks really good in camera, and in photo shoots and videos they generally do look good. But the reality of the matter is, if you look close up, you will start to see imperfections. So, I mean, like right now, from that distance, and with this sort of resolution, it looks great. But in a minute, for example, if you kind of spin the camera around, actually the reality is that's not done. First furniture in, these aren't set up yet. And then when we walk around, which is the purpose of this video, I'll show you all the imperfections. Actually, I'll show you some of them because we've already done half of the snagging already. But hopefully you'll get an idea of what it's really like and how to do snagging for a HMO property. So what I do, it's also for our trades and also some of our guys as well, so that they can look at the video and then write down the notes for the snagging to give to trades later. Okay, so let's walk around the property, and basically I'll point out all the imperfections there are, things that needs doing, and then we'll make a note of it, give that to the builder, and then they'll crack on with it, and then we'll come back, inspect, take things off the list. Most likely, or on be half done, we'll go over it again, and then another half will be done, and then we'll go over it again. And it's a tedious process, but it's necessary. Yeah, okay, let's go around. Right, so this is, for me, this is always a good opportunity to check all the fire compliant things as well. For example, this is the sort of stage where I double check. So obviously we do it at the start, but I'll double check things like thumb turns, making sure everything locks properly. That looks fine. So actually, if you wanna, maybe able to zoom in. So obviously we need to put this up here. So this is where I say, okay, can we hang this up here, or well, hang it around somewhere better. But things like these, you'll start to see all the grouting, how it's not done perfectly. Grouting and siliconing around the property, that's the majority of the snagging is basically pointing out the fact that you have to clean all these things up, because once it's done, once the trades leave, it's a bit of a ball ache to get everybody back on and complete them. So one of the things you look out for is grouting, making sure it's done properly. You know, give it a good clean down, wipe it off, whatever you need to do. Some of them even have holes. For example, this one here, for example, there'll be a gap, so that will need to be done. And then check on the silicone as well, so that it's done properly. I think I actually done quite a good job here. But along here, sometimes you get a bit of a smudge. Sometimes it's not done properly. Again, there's another hole there. So we'll use this video later to show the contractor, and then he'll go around and get them fixed. You know, it's completely normal. Don't get upset about it. Don't get angry about it. It's just part of the process. The idea is to identify them, write them down, and just crack on with it. You know, that's just part of the business. I mean, for example, in there, so that will need painting. Now, you know, because this is more of a high-end property, we would be extra. We'll keep. You know, we'll be. What's this word for it?
Extra vigilant, yeah, strict.
Extra strict when it comes to good standards. I mean, you know, one of the other properties where the market's slightly different, we spent a bit less on it, the budget's different. I'll be less strict on it. Obviously, we still want a good product, but on a product like this where the finish is important, then we obviously have to make sure that we have a really good, high quality finish, because the tenants are paying premium rent for it.
Yep.
Generally speaking, up here, that always needs to wipe down, because you get a lot of dirt and cement from the building and dust. So it needs to proper wipe down, and they've obviously tried, but not good enough. Sockets, things like that. So these are always important to look at, because paint will often go around them. So we need to get the builder to come in and clean all the paint off. And then, you know, stuff like in that corner up there, you know, little things like that would need to be cleaned, because if that's not done now, that might never be done. You know, people might leave it, might spot it and think, oh, I'll do it later, and it'll just stay like that. That's okay. Stuff like that, I think I pointed out earlier, but that will need to be done properly as well. So we're going to put a TV bracket here, and the TV's over there for a TV here. What we're going to do, so this is a good opportunity now as well to go over the final things that you think, oh, actually, it'll be a good idea to do this here. And for us, for example, it'll be to put some sort of buffer here, so that when the cabinet door opens, it won't damage the surfaces of either the cabinet door or the wall. So maybe a rubber thing, I forgot the cord, but there will be a rubber thing being put here anyway. General stuff will be cleaning, testing that. This is the sort of stage where you take out all the packaging that's in there as well, and then testing it, ensure that that's on. That's fine. Always go through and then test all these to make sure they're okay. Another important thing is this one. So go through all the cupboards, and check these. Make sure that there's enough brackets on all of them. Sometimes people will forget, and there'll be one bracket's missing, and the shelf will be lopsided, and you want to kind of catch that now. With these, again, always double check to make sure the transportation bolt has been removed, because once it's in and set up and the trades have left, it's a right boy to get them to come back in and fix it. In fact, a lot of the time, tenants will start using them and we won't realise that the issue is actually the transportation bolt. We might think, oh, they've done it, the tenants don't know how to use it, or there's a fault with the washing machine, tumble dryer. Because this is an extension, everything is pretty much brand new, but with older properties where we're just kind of giving a general refurb, there'll be, you'll paint around here, but then a lot of the time the trades won't paint behind here, and it'll be like the original colour of the property, which might be, you know, really luminous green or something. And so if you've got a good eye for that stuff, so you'll notice the old paint underneath, and it doesn't look very nice. So that's always something to keep an eye out for, is making sure that, you know, it's painted all the way down as far as possible. These are the new radiators, so it's not such a bad issue. It's not such an issue. Always check to see each radiator has these valves and that they're working as well. They all need to be tested. On radiators, a lot of time paint does get onto them, so you want to check to make sure there's no paint in them. And if there are, add it to this to get it clean. Again, these sort of stuff, I mean, you don't want to spend a lot of money on sort of sockets, but then for them to have paint all of them, so you want that clean, because these sorts of stuff does add to the a lot onto the rent. It's little touches like that actually adds the rent. Obviously, make sure you've got a nice property as well. But in this property, for example, because it's a bit higher end, if that was just a standard cheapo power socket, it won't look as good. It won't make an impression. Just a little stuff like that will make an impression. Walls, just make sure that there's no, they're not damaged. If they are, keep an eye on it. Test all the lights in here. There's another switch again in here, which is going to go. Again, paint that needs to be got rid of. I'll always check the skirting, because when we're transporting things around, moving furniture, you know, that will just need, I mean, that's not so bad, but it will need a lick of paint just to make it look okay. Again, I mean, this is being quite picky, because nobody's really going to see behind this door in that corner, but if you're to be super picky, stuff like that, again, just clean off the paint. But that's pretty normal, that around there, and obviously this is eye level, so they spotted that. Generally speaking, just keep an eye out for stuff like this as well, the paint crack or the silicone, just because you don't want it coming back at a later date. That's fine, that's okay. Window ledges are another thing to keep an eye on. It's making sure the silicone around here is done properly. I mean, that's okay, but really sometimes it really smudges out. So those obviously need to be cleaned down. We've tested that already. We've tested these radiators.
Yep.
Now seems to be fine. That's the TV. The walls in here seem fine.
Shall we have a look at our mini plant room?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the radiator. Obviously, all the paint will be removed. You know, once we finish everything.
And just a quick one, this is an important time again, as T stated, going around doing snagging. It's things like opening doors, like that door there will open straight into the radiator. So it's down to us now to actually put in a door stop before any damage either happens to the radiator or the door.
Yeah, as you can see, there's already a bit of a mark here from where the door smashed into it. So yeah, it's definitely a good idea to start putting door stops in there as well. I think as it's standing there, what other snags did you spot?
It was mainly just cleaning up of paint, a little bit on our wall outside. We've got a couple of bigger jobs in terms of in here. No. Yeah, because you know the builder has already been in here. Yeah. And done a lot of it as well. Okay, so let's do it.
Yeah, again, so with stuff like this, let's turn around and look at this door. So this is where you test the doors, like Ashley said. It's making sure they close it slowly, it doesn't slam. It's when it goes there, it will start slamming. Stuff like that, again, as I said before, just make sure that all the paint is removed. You can pretty much guarantee to say, do that through every switch throughout the house. Door frames, make sure that they're not damaged, the paint works. So this is where you test the door. So what you want to do is let it, so there's that bit where which just kind of slows down, and a soft close. 6 people in the house, 1 in the kitchen, 1 at the front door. You don't want people constantly slamming doors because it's just going to wake the neighbours, it's going to keep everybody in the room, in the house awake. Make sure that's okay, which it is. That's okay. That's in that. That obviously needs painting. Good opportunity to go around and take off all the covers as well from the fire alarms. So this is something that I do with the HMO guy, the furniture guys. I always ask them to glue this as well as hammer it in, screw it in, because this is sort of the weak spot, and when tenants move furniture around, most likely they'll just lift this rather than lifting the bottom. So we're asking, so I'll go around and lift it myself, and then I'll ask Adam and Eddie to go around and glue it down to double check that it's being glued. En-suites. So with en-suites, always make sure the extractor fan's on. When you're walking around, turn it on and turn it off. Oh, he's already done it. The extractor fan sometimes does not turn off. Yep. So it's one of those things you keep an eye out for. Sometimes it takes too long to turn off. So the best thing to do is flick it on, but when you flick it off, when you walk off, just keep it in the back of your mind, you know, seeing has that switched off yet? Like don't forget about it. Or you just do this and then test it. That's off. Last time it took about 5 minutes, or it took about 10 minutes, and one of them didn't even turn off. So yeah, just something's good. Once tenants move in, they won't realise it, that's not normal. So yeah, so just keep an eye out. In here, so just make sure that everything is siliconed. So for example, there's a bit in the corner there. You can see. Yep. Yeah. Obviously, this so en-suites in property management, HMO property management, en-suites are one of the sort of the problem spots because of the leaks, the damp, all that sort of stuff. So when we do an en-suite, we just got to make sure that everything's watertight, everything's rigid, robust. It's hard wearing, but there are no gaps around there. So for some up there, we just need to silicone that just in case. And then for down here, for example, this definitely needs cleaning up properly, you know, scraping down. So we're pointing at the silicone, and so the sides will need to be scraped down. Let me see if I can go in there. There you go. So can you see it? So that will need to be scraped away. Yeah. And then that corner, it just basically needs to be made presentable. Obviously test everything. Test these to make sure that they're working, but also that the temperature isn't set too high, because we don't want tenants burning themselves. And then it's going around and checking these to make sure that they're done to a reasonable standard and they're not torn as well. So there, for example, we might have to ask them to come around and just clean it up, and likewise over there. Let's give it that final touch. Okay. Again, in here, onto these silicone, that needs to be done properly. For example, that it's already showing signs of flaking, which isn't good in a safe space. Sorry, a space where there's a lot of humidity. That's working. That should be fine. Generally speaking, well, we have an agreement with our builder whereby they clean the whole house down, so it's completely ready. Whatever you do, you know, if you've got clean or not, just make sure it's all cleaned properly when it's handed over. Toilet seats as well. So you get this quite a lot. Make sure it's properly secured. Make sure it's flushing. Yeah, and that should be that. Going around. So we've just put these mirrors on, and that's obviously made marks around there to put the mirror on. We now need to point it out and say, oh, can you please paint over it, and then properly repaint that, the original bit. That's fine. There's a valve there. Corners are fine. That's fine. Corners are fine. Radiuses are fine. That's okay. So just keep an eye on the corners. Basically, corners are fine. Walls seem to be okay. And that turns off. Actually, quite loud. Okay. So halls and hallways. Hallways and corridors. Again, this is where you have to inspect to make sure there's not a lot of dust, rub moth, there, and then make sure there's no marks. Generally speaking, when furniture people move in, you see a lot of marks just from moving the furniture around. That probably needs a touch of paint there. Example would be, there you go. So these are some scratches, just normal trades, normal furniture movement. But this is now the opportunity to get that painted up properly. This we spotted earlier, so that just needs to be painted at the end. This door should be fine. Sorry. We've tested this already. That seems to be working. Okay, so into room 1. Again, that's been tested, and it was quite hot in here. Stuff like this, you know, just make sure what can be done to it to make sure it's a better finish. That's fine. The blinds have just been installed. Labels, they need to be peeled off, and ideally done in a way where it doesn't leave a lot of smudges as well. That's in. That's fine. Mirrors, painted over it, but it needs another coating. And as you can see, somebody's already tried to paint it. Also a good opportunity to test the furniture as well. So soft close, Oh, that's fine. That's okay. Ceiling, wall, light cover needs to be removed.
No.
Exactly like the other one. So in here, certain corners need to be sealed. yeah, just in case one end.
Yeah.
Corner over there, that needs to be sealed up, just in case we don't want any mice issues.
Sealed and painted.
Yeah, because they do need, mice do sneak into the smallest places through line. Okay, that should be fine. Oftentimes you'll see a lot of paintwork on these. It's not the end of the world, but you know, sometimes if they can clean it, then it's getting to clean it. That's a bit loose. Ash. So
yeah.
See, that's
yeah.
why you check the seats. So that's gone loose. Actually, I'll leave it aside, just in case. Okay. Room number 2. This one was actually fine. Tested the furniture. So this is a good opportunity to let the furniture guys know that the handles need to be put on here. And I noticed that this bed, the frame's sticking out, so there needs to be assembled. That needs to be finished and assembled properly. You can see down there.
Yeah, it's a little bit warped.
Yeah.
And it's always good as well to get a couple of opinions. So that's why it's good that myself and Tua are walking around, because I actually checked this room yesterday and didn't notice the bed. And I probably wouldn't have noticed it, to be honest. Yeah,
you just see it with fresh eyes, because a lot of time it's the same thing over and over again. You most likely just miss it. Yeah. But that's quite an important thing, because when a tenant jumps on it, sleeps on it, you don't want it to fall apart. That's okay. Walls are okay. Lights are okay. Mirrors okay. We need to put a hook in. Sorry, hook in here. Put that up. Bathroom's okay. Actually, it doesn't need to be resealed. Honestly, seems to be okay. Doors seem to close. That switches off. That's fine. That lock's fine. That'll be okay for now. That's fine. Okay, so this probably needs a better scene, for example. This needs to be neatened up properly.
I've just noticed something too. We've checked the lock on this door.
On the outside?
But it should be on the inside.
Well, there you go. Okay, so there you go. Lock should be on the inside, the outside. Like, it's not the end of the world, because it's in a bedroom. In fact, do you need a lock in your own bedroom?
I don't think you particularly do, but
yeah, it should be on the inside rather than. I mean, you definitely should have one on the outside. You don't want to be trapped in there. Okay, so that's definitely a thing. There you go. So, so this sort of stuff is when you start looking around here, because when you move the furniture, guaranteed we'll knock it. But this has already been cleaned up. That was removed, it's been put back on, and they seem to have done a good job. That seems to be fine.
There was actually something there which has been cleaned up really well.
Yeah.
There's a big dent.
So I think this room, again, furniture needs to be properly assembled. The plinth at the end needs to be fixed properly. I've already tested that. Walls seem okay. That seems clean. Needs an extension. That's fine. That's fine. The silicone around these work counters are fine. And that's fine as well. Okay. That gave that shake already. That needs to be put up. That was fine. Turn it down. So again, yep, off, back on. Lock on the inside. So not a touch. Yeah. So in here, for example, there'll be like silicone around there, but then there's no silicone here. And it'll just be nice to have silicone there as well, just for peace of mind. Windows fine, that's fine. No potential issues around here. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, sometimes you want to test those taps. If they're shallow, you don't want water kind of splashing everywhere. It does happen. And it does, then we need to do something about it. So that's fine, that's fine.
Cheers.
Okay, so here, again, they've put marks up where we put the painting, so we just need to get it painted over. Yeah, but that's actually quite a nice mirror. It goes well with the design. The tenant in here. Oh, actually, we do have. Yeah, we've got it. So the tenant actually asked for a full-size mirror, so we've gone and get a full-size mirror, and it's going to go there. That's being cleaned up. That's fine. There's a door stop there. Yeah. So one of the things to do is actually we'll go through it later. Go through every door. Make sure there's a door stop. That's one of the things, like a tick list thing more than anything. That's fine. Fine. So let's clean it down. So, yeah. Okay. So in bathrooms, it's important to make sure there's no cracks in the paint, because if there are, then it's gonna create damp issues and flaking further down. But everything else is in here is fine. Okay, the door locks there, that turns off. And everything else in here, just give me 30 seconds to count down something. In here, yeah, I think walls are fine. They put an end to this, that's sealed off. Oh. Okay, that's better. That was working when I tested it, that's fine. Fridge is in, tested that. No paint on the plugs. Yeah, I mean, I think that is pretty much it. Again, I think a lot of the snagging's been done already. This is kind of like a second snag, as it were, and we just keep adding to the list until we're completely happy, and then bring it back to the contractor, to the builder, and we just keep going backwards and forth until it's all done. Hopefully that's helpful. I think the next video we're just going to do a final walkthrough, and I think that should be it. I think we've got 4 tenants now. And potentially 5, so it's pretty much nearly finished. Hopefully that's been helpful, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Ash, if you wanna.
Bye. See ya. Cheers.